All right, welcome everybody to my Sunday stock watch. It is that time of the week where we have to prepare for this upcoming week ahead. Now, we got a pretty exciting week. My apologies for being all the way down there. But I want to get right into it because we have a very exciting week going forward. Most of these stocks that we're watching are kind of stuck in more of a consolidation range as well, which makes things very interesting going into this next week. So for Monday, we don't really have any news that's important. Nothing to worry about there. We got a no news Monday. Tuesday, though, we do have job openings. So this is going to be really, really important. We have job openings right up at 7 a.m. And that will be red folder news. Wednesday, we have the interest rate decision. Now, that may not be a big shock to the market. Looks like we are going to get a interest rate lowering, but what you really need to be careful for is the Powell speech after the interest rate decision, and he will be speaking at my time. It'll be 11:30 p.m. 11 a.m. 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. Depending on what coast you're on, maybe a different time. So yeah. And then for Thursday, we also don't have a whole lot going on Thursday. I see that we may, or we're supposed to be getting PPI data. I don't believe we will be. And then Friday, we don't have much news at all. We have a couple Fed speakers, and that is about that. So that is the economic calendar. Tuesday and Wednesday, both very important days, both days where we could see a big move. Be aware, be careful of that as well. Please do not be trading during Powell's speech. Okay, no need to be gambling on FOMC, all right? So let's take a quick look at the overnight market open. So now we've opened up higher just a bit. We got QQQ trading up about 0.10%, SPY up about 0.07%. So not a very big change from Friday, which is kind of what I expected. And I think tomorrow we will continue to have some more chop consolidation pre these big news events we have Tuesday and Wednesday. So keep that in mind as well. But across the board, we're looking pretty unchanged from Friday, which makes things a little bit easier for taking out levels and such. What news did Carvana get? Anyone know? Oh, sorry. Wait, Carvana, did we not update? What's going on here? It's saying it's up 10%, but I think this is from Friday. I don't know. Anyways, all right. So, Carvana's not a name that I'm watching. Just got curious there. So across the board, pretty unchanged from Friday. Keeps things simple, keeps things easier, at least. But yeah, let's go and take a look at the charts real quick. So SPY, again, unchanged from Friday. Let's go into the 4-hour time frame because we kind of have these bigger areas that we could possibly retest going into this up-and-coming week. So I would watch for the all-time high of SPY around 689, 690 generally. We could see some sort of retest of that all-time high once again. Now, for some areas that I would watch for that could get shaky if we do break back below is going to be around this 683, 682, and generally 680 on SPY. So we're kind of just stuck between these two ranges from these areas. Yeah. So we're kind of stuck between those two ranges from those two areas. On SPY, generally, we're going to see the same sort of setup on QQQ. But we are a little bit further from Q's all-time high. So I would be watching, again, I'd still be watching for this all-time high to potentially get tested and for this general range on QQQ. But if we do see a break back below, like 620 range to 618, definitely be watching, take that into consideration, that we could see that. So kind of stuck between these two ranges. Again, I would be very cautious moving forward. We could either see nice rejects, big bounces off these areas, breaks of these areas. Anything could happen. We'll really be able to tell with the news that is coming up. Now, next couple of names that I'm actually watching going into this next week, Tesla being one of them, and we have a random line drawn. So Tesla overnight is currently trading at 453. We're down a little bit from Friday close. Not much though. But some general levels, and let's take it back to the hourly on Tesla. I'm going to remove that as well. So some general levels that I'm watching for on Tesla is, we do have to go back into November a little bit, but the first kind of range I'm watching for is going to be 460 to 464. So between these kind of areas, we could see potentially a nice reject on Tesla. So I would watch for that. And then for these lower areas, I'd be watching if we do end up breaking back into 450. Below there, we could see, into 445 and even lower back into 440. If we do break above this 460 area, easily to 470, we could see on Tesla. So definitely just be watching for those general ranges on Tesla. Next couple of names, Bitcoin is definitely a watch for me. I mean, we've just been consistently rejecting like any chance of breaking back into 95. Reject after reject after reject. So what I'm going to look for is for price to trade higher up into this 94 area on Bitcoin. Now I'm going to mirror that with MSTR. I would love to see MSTR trade back into 190 and we get a reject from that area. And for any reason we end up just trading lower on Bitcoin, I'm going to be looking for a bounce from this lower 87 to 86 area. MSTR, I would love to see a bounce from around this 160 to 150 range. We could see a nice bounce. Let's take a quick look. MSTR is currently trading at 180. So yeah, ideally, we could definitely either see a nice reject or a bounce depending on what Bitcoin does, which is key to watch for. Coinbase as well, we can see the same sort of price action. Coinbase is currently trading at 271, again, unchanged from Friday. So I'd either want to see, if we do potentially trade to the upside on Bitcoin, we could see a reject from 285 on Coinbase. Or if we do trade lower, we could see a nice bounce off of the, 265, lower 260, even potentially into 255 area on coin. So ideally, that is, again, what I'm looking for with those couple of names. Other names that I'm also watching this week, Meta, which we've made a pretty nice recovery with when it got some news on, what was that, Thursday, I believe. It got some news and we had a nice bounce up and we've been, having a pretty nice recovery, especially after that nice big drop. So I would be watching for any, we don't really have too many levels. I would go onto the daily chart first. So I'd be watching if we could get any rejects, potential rejects from the 680 area and back up into 690. I would be watching for those rejects. If we do end up trading lower, I would love to see any sort of bounces from this general 654 area. And if we go back into the 4-hour, any bounces from 648 to 650, I would love to take those. Meta is currently trading at, where's Meta? Am I just like not looking? Currently trading at 673. So again, unchanged from Friday. But yeah, Meta still is one that is kind of in a range as well. You could determine, your setup using pre-market, high and low, previous day, high and low. So keep that in mind. But yeah, generally either looking for any sort of bounces from these lower areas or rejects if we do trade higher. But those are mostly the names that I'm watching going into this up and coming week. Again, I don't want to do too much analysis just because we have a lot of big news events. Stuff can change, so keep that in mind. But anyways, That'll be all for my Sunday stock watch. I appreciate you guys so much. Discord is linked in the description if you guys want to join. I'm also opening up a few spots for my one-on-one mentorship students, and I will also put that in the description as well. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.